Part 83. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 821. Ha ha ha, I almost forgot about this. Li Chen couldn't help but laugh excitedly, and the two of them picked up their wine glasses and drank the glass of wine. Murong Shui glanced at Li Chen shyly and with a hint of reproach. Next is the bridal chamber, but it's still early, and there are many guests outside who need to be entertained, so they will both change into light clothes to entertain them. The matter of getting married was naturally done. Then the next step is to entertain the guests. As Murong Hung said before, too many people came to congratulate him. Even though they were prepared, they were still in a hurry. Fortunately, Li Chen's house is big enough, and many rooms in the house have been cleared out. In addition, the basement has been decorated early. It looks exactly like a serious house, with no hint of a basement. In the area on the west side of the house, in the greenhouse, is a special place for sitting. This is also based on the village's banquet etiquette. There are 8 tables in total. There will be a rotating dining method. There are a total of 16 dishes on the table. These 16 dishes are all carefully selected. It is really like attending a feast. The wine on the table is all the drunken concubine wine that is already popular outside. Many people don't have to worry even if they drink, because Li Chen specially hired 100 drivers today. When the drivers have nothing to do, they are responsible for resting. Once there is work, they get up immediately to take over the work. Different from the super bustle of Li Chen's house, Li Qingshan's side looked much deserted. After all, Li Chen has too many connections. Li Hoqian still made a lot of efforts to take care of his nephew. Many seats in the village and the villagers went to Li Qingshan first. Nowadays, there are hundreds of villagers who come here to attend the banquet alone. Past. Li Qingshan gathered there, and the excitement immediately increased. It's almost the same as Li Chen's. Li Chen kept picking up and dropping off guests, many of whom came just to brush their faces, just to show their faces in front of Li Chen. Finally at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Li Chen and his hungry family finally got to the table. They were very hungry, and receiving people was a very, very tiring job. In the evening, those who could stay in Jia village were almost all those who had a very good relationship with the Lycan family, such as those powerful masters who lived and died together. They can take their women and live temporarily in Jiakan. As for the rest of the people, even if you have great wealth and status, you are still not qualified. Zhao Dezu is also one of the main old leaders today. He and Li Chuanlong formed a bragging duo. They brag when they meet everyone. One says that my grandson is awesome, and the other says that my apprentice is awesome. Of course, everyone just smiled. Li Donglong and Li Nanfei were sweating profusely, and their faces were slumped. It's really tiring. Especially today's costume was eye-catching, causing many guests to praise her. There were also many girls' families who wanted to take photos with them. Li Zifeng and Li Biwu were much more comfortable. One followed Murong Shui and the other followed Li Chen. Li Zifeng is now jokingly called Murong Shui's sister by the media who come to take pictures. She has good looks and good height. Unfortunately, Li Zifeng is not interested in the entertainment industry. However, the media announcements were full of praise. Li Chen took Li Biwu, who only clung to him, and ate and drank everywhere. The little girl was very. It's easy to pass the time, no crying or fuss, just a little food. The evening banquet started a little later, and even the village chef couldn't bear it. Those who were accustomed to high-end banquets were really surprised when they had such a banquet for the first time. They found that banquets that cost tens of thousands in the past were really not much better than those made by these rural chefs, and some even made them unpalatable. However, almost all the people who come here to eat are satisfied with the food. The lives of rich people are sometimes very simple and unpretentious. The people in Jiakan didn't have much fun. Except for Li Chen's pond where wild fishing is possible, the rest of the people can only play mahjong. Of course, everyone with their families and children went to the various recreational facilities in the village. The whole village is brightly lit, with street lights and big lights everywhere, just like daylight. Those areas with flashing neon lights also emitted bursts of laughter. After the successful construction of the amusement park in Jiakan, it has not been open to the public, and many children often like these places the most. Daddy, Li Biwu, whose princess dress was already wet, leaned into Li Chen's arms and almost fell asleep from exhaustion. Li Chen gently shook his legs and hugged Li Biwu gently. Yeah. Xiao Wu also wants to play. Okay, then daddy will take you to play tomorrow, okay. Okay. After Li Biwu said that, he closed his eyes. Not even a child, not even an adult can handle it. After the little girl fell asleep, Li Hoxiang immediately ran over and was about to pick up his granddaughter, but was swatted away by Zhao Yufeng. Go, go, Zhao Yufeng said in disgust, I have to wipe the child's body first so that she can sleep easily. Why are you joining in the fun? /U003CB. R /U003EI, I want to hug Xiao Wu, too. Li Hoxiang rubbed his hands. Zhao Yufeng rolled her eyes at her husband. Hurry up and entertain the guests. With so many guests, can Xiao Chen take care of them? You, as a father, don't know how to share the burden. Li Hoxiang, who was lectured by his wife, blushed and had to give up the idea of holding his granddaughter. In the evening, the 10 brothers had to gather together and take turns to toast. This is also one of the traditional customs, which can be said to be very lively. Everyone took turns to persuade people to drink, and then served dishes again. It lasted for an hour and finally ended. It was already 10:30 in the evening, and many people went home. The Li family began to pack up their stalls, and the many houses that had been built in the village were taken out and used as temporary hotels for everyone to use. After another round of tossing and busying, Murong Shui couldn't stand it anymore at around 12:30. If Li Chen hadn't secretly helped her resolve some of the problems from time to time, Murong Shui would have collapsed from exhaustion. After returning home, the closest relatives of the man and woman remained at home. At this time, Li Chen had to take his family to the neighboring Li Qingshan's house to congratulate. Li Qingshan, Dongfang Yaoqing, and some members of the Li family in the capital and the Dongfang family began to receive Li Chen and his family. They were all family members, and they were getting married on the same day, so they could only go through the motions. Li Qingshan stood up and thanked Li Hoxiang, Li Chen, and everyone in the Li family one by one, and the wedding banquet finally ended. Li Chen and Murong Xiu lay on the bed. After taking a shower, they didn't want to move at all. Li Nanfei and the others had already washed up and were rolling on the bed. Seeing that Li Chen and Murong Xiu were too tired to move, Li Nanfei and Li Biwu, who had already woken up, came over. Daddy, do you want Xiao to step on your back? The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 822. Murong Shui tilted her head and looked at Li Biwu and said, Li Biwu, are you too partial? Li Biwu, with his hair disheveled, shook his head and said, Kesu daddy is very tired. Aren't you tired then? Murong Shui said, pretending to be angry. Kesu, mom has 3 pots. Li Biwu pointed at Li Nanfei, then lay down next to Li Chen. Daddy, there is no such thing. Murong Shui. This girl is simply unacceptable. She decided that after the family matters were settled, she and Li Chen would go on their honeymoon. As for these naughty children, whoever loved them wanted them. Li Chen couldn't help laughing. Li Biwu climbed up quickly, and then hit Li Chen's body with his fleshy fist. Mom, don't be angry, Li Nanfei comforted, it's the same when my son massages you. Well, that's right. I will only buy you food from now on. Xiao Wu won't need it. Murong Shui looked at her youngest son happily and said. Li Biwu, who had just hammered Li Chen twice, suddenly climbed up with Li Chen's back, came to the side of Murong Shui, and pushed Li Nanfei away with his butt. You. Li Nanfei looked at the stupid sister who had already taken his place speechlessly, feeling a little annoyed. Mom, are you vain? Murong Shui opened her eyes with a smile and said, aren't you going to give your father a massage? Why are you massaging Mama again? Li Biwu pinched Murong Shui's shoulders diligently and said, Xiao Wu likes daddy, and also likes mommy. That's it, then you can hold mom down for a while. Murong Shui closed her eyes. Xiao Fei, come here and step on my back, Li Chen shouted. Li Nanfei immediately crawled over. After Li Biwu clicked a few times, he started fishing. Mom. Then, are you going to buy it for Xiao Wu? Li Chen couldn't hold back and spurted out. Even Li, who stepped on his back. Nanfei couldn't help but look sideways. He knew that the stupid sister squeezed him away because he took a fancy to what his mother said about buying food. Murong Shui looked at Li Biwu with a confused look on her face and said, what should I buy to eat? Li Biwu suddenly became excited and said, Gang, you were so embarrassed just now. Do you want to buy Sangguo a second time? Well, that's right. Well, then I gave you a massage, why don't you buy it for me? Li Biwu's eyes widened. But you didn't ask me before. Murong Shui looked at her youngest daughter and asked. Li Biwu stood stunned on the spot, as if his whole body had been shocked. Wow! After working for so long but having no food, Li Biwu cried in frustration. What's wrong? As soon as the little girl cried, the grandparents and grandparents rushed in as if they were fighting. What's wrong with Xiao Wu? Li Hokshan was so distressed that he quickly pushed Murong Hungs away and hugged Li Biwu. The angry Murong Hungs raised his foot and was about to kick the father-in-law, but Yuan Jiawai stopped him and stopped fighting. What's going on? Murong Hungs came up and wanted to take Xiao Wu away, but he didn't. Mama doesn't like Xiao Wu anymore, I won't buy it for Xiao Wu, hiccup. Murong Shui met the eyes of her mother-in-law and mother, with a look of embarrassment on her face. Yes, it's a misunderstanding. Snapped. Yuan Jiawai raised her hand and hit Murong Shui on the buttocks. The sound was very loud and shocked the whole room. Xiao Wu, did you see? Grandma beat you up, Yuan Jiawai said, if your mother doesn't buy you food from now on, Grandma will buy it for you. Murong Shui looked at her mother with shame and anger. She actually. He spanked himself in public just to coax this little granddaughter. Dare you laugh? Murong Shui looked at Li Chen and quickly reached out to grab Li Chen's ears. Wrong, I was wrong. Li Chen quickly apologized, honey, there is still someone here. When Li Hokshan saw this, he sighed, looking sad for his misfortune and angry at him. As a result, as soon as she turned around, Zhao Yufeng pinched her ears and carried Xiao Wu out. Xiao Fei, let's go, follow Grandma out. Yuan Jiawai took Li Nanfei away, and the house suddenly became empty. When Murong Shui saw this, she breathed a long sigh of relief and said, I'm so tired, let's go to sleep. Okay. Li Chen immediately started to take off his clothes and got into bed. The air conditioner was still a little cold. Snapped. The lights were turned off and the door was locked. As soon as Murong Shui got into bed, she was hugged by Li Chen. It's not okay for us to do nothing on our wedding night. Under the night, Murong Shui's pretty face was extremely pink. Li Chen covered himself with the quilt. Don't worry, Li Chuanlong was a little annoyed, and it was uncomfortable to squat at the door. Shh, Murong Hungs tilted his ears and said, this brat won't just go to sleep, right? As soon as he finished speaking, Murong Hung slapped Yuan Jiawai, and he quickly gave up his position to let his wife eavesdrop. There's movement, it's a bit loud. It's good if it's big, Zhao Yufeng said with a proud look on his face, maybe we can add another one to our family. This is good, This is good. Ungy also agreed. The two families who were listening in the corner just now immediately changed the topic to what to name the fifth child. They are mainly worried that these the children were all born from test tubes, so I was afraid that Li Chen would feel a little alienated. If there is another one made by the two of them, it will be completely different. However, they don't know that neither Li Chen nor Murong Shui have ever had such a disdainful thought. Whether it is Xiaolong, Xiaofeng, Xiaofei or Xiaowu, they are all their favorites. The sun rises in the east. Li Chen lifted the quilt and searched for a long time before finding his pants. He quickly put on his clothes. Then he heard Murong Shui snored, and her face seemed a little painful. "Shui, why don't you sleep a little longer?" Li Chen sat on the bed, looking at his wife with frowned eyebrows, feeling a little distressed. Murong Shui raised her weak arm, hit Li Chen, and said, "It's you who insisted on trying something yesterday." At this point, her pretty face turned red again, and her eyes stared at Li Chen unkindly. "Where do you get so many postures?" "Ahem," Li Chen blushed and said, "Don't worry, I am very clean apart from the fifth lady, there is only you." "Fifth lady?" Murong Shui looked dazed. Li Chen stretched out his golden left hand, which made Murong Shui's pretty face blush again. "It hurt when she moved it?" "What about the posture?" "Ahem, I have to thank the hard work of teacher Bo San Kang Wu Jiao for teaching me." "Li Chen." Murong Shui's face turned red little by little, and she picked up the pillow and threw it at him. Li Chen was so scared that he quickly dodged it, and looked at his wife in shock and said, "Do you know this teacher?" "It's obviously 5. Murong Shui said angrily, and just after she finished speaking, she realized that she had said the wrong thing, and quickly covered her mouth. "Tisk tisk, it turns out that my wife is also a person of this art. I have another posture tonight." "Get lost." Murong Shui was so angry that this bastard was definitely doing it on purpose. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 823. Because there are so many people staying at Li's house, breakfast still needs to be served by a chef. Murong Shui didn't get up, and everyone had a tacit understanding not to ask. After all, this was a good thing. These relatives who have had breakfast will stay here for a while. After all, there are still many recreational facilities in this village. Especially a group of young people such as Ye Yonggan. After hearing that there was a super invincible giant in the Ljiakan reservoir, a group of young people who were drunk and boastful put aside their rhetoric and rushed to buy the best fishing rods early to prepare for the big show. Skill. As the owner of this place, Li Chen is very aware of how abnormal the giant thing in the reservoir is. Before he took over here, this reservoir was included in the formation. This reservoir has been moistened by the spirit gathering formation for hundreds of years. In addition to the fish in the reservoir, there seems to be no shortage of food, and there are all kinds of aquatic plants and other creatures. The big guys here, weighing hundreds of pounds, are nothing. If they really want to catch such a giant thing, they will either be dragged into the water or their rod will be exploded. As for them trying to pull them up, I'm afraid it would be a bit difficult. The smallest fish here are giants. For example, the wheat-ear fish may only be a few 10 tails in a normal river ditch area, but in this reservoir, the wheat-ear fish can be as big as several tails. Of course, Li Chen just gave a brief warning and left it alone. A strong martial artist was dispatched, and as long as the person didn't drown, he would be fine. There are many women who also plan to go because they want to check in and take photos at the waterfall. If there were a lot of children at home, they were dragged to play on the amusement facilities. Ljiakan is a natural zoo. Children love and fear this kind of animal. Just like someone who plays games, he is good at it and loves to play. Ljiakan seemed to be much more popular. 3 days later, a group of people who bought houses in Ljiakan officially began to move in. This time Li Chen got married. Many people realized that the era of great changes had officially arrived. Just staying in Ljiakan for a few nights, many of them clearly felt that the environment here was really different. It felt like they were inhaling high oxygen every time they breathed in. This was the first time in their lives that they had truly felt it. Not to mention the many secrets Li Chen has here. Ljiakan suddenly became the most discussed word in the world's top circles. Now, except for these people who can live in Ljiakan, the rest of them are looking for connections and connections. In short, they must settle here. Ljia village is large, but not too big, because various tourist and recreational facilities occupy a lot of space. Half of the fertile farmland is currently being cultivated normally. The rest is the construction area. Because the greening here can be said to account for more than 40%. To the west of Ljia village, the Ye family's pig farm occupies a considerable area and has officially begun to expand. The Yuan family's vegetable base is also close to the west of Ljia village. These are the two largest industrial bases. The rest of the major bases have also begun construction. Everything is centered on Ljiakan and begins to radiate to the surrounding areas. Construction of subways, subway facilities, etc. has started again. In rural areas, there are hundreds of companies settled there. The people in the entire Ljia village area have officially entered the age limit of 5 million per household generation. And everyone knows that the 5 million per household is not an imaginary figure, but a real figure. If nothing happens, it will double again in the next 2 years. Early mornings in Ljia village are always not very quiet. Because there are many animals in the mountains and forests, even if they are far away from the residential area, there will still be animals roaring. This makes many people feel pain and happiness, because there is no ban on animal activities in the village. This is the largest natural zoo. Li Chen had just gotten up early and was hoeing weeds when he saw Li Qingshan coming next door with his trouser legs rolled up and carrying a hoe. "When are you going to go on your honeymoon?" Li Qingshan asked while puffing. "Right away," Li Chen wiped his sweat. "What about you?" "Yajun has been sent to Murakami to start studying. Your parents will help me pick him up when the time comes," Li Qingshan said. "I will set off tonight." "So urgent?" Li Chen's eyes widened. "Don't you know how smart my son is? Why shouldn't he start early?" Li Qingshan said. "If he knew that I took his mother on my honeymoon without him, he would have to find a way to despise me." When Li Chen heard this, he immediately became happy. Dongfang Yajun, this kid, is very smart. However, Li Qingshan was also very arrogant and threw the child directly to Li Hoxian, which shows his trust in Li Hoxian. "Okay, I'm going home first," Li Qingshan said, touching his waist. Li Chen's eyes couldn't help but fall on Li Qingshan's hand holding his waist. Is this not going to work? You can't do it, and your whole family can't do it either," Li Qingshan exclaimed. "My back hurts from farming." Li Chen held back his laughter. As for this reason, he wouldn't believe it even if he were beaten to death. Facts have proved that Li Chen was also deceived. After Li Qingshan returned home, he took his wife Dongfang Yaoqing directly to their honeymoon without waiting until night. This thing even deceives itself. Li Chen went home cursing. "Daddy," Li Biwu, who was carrying his small school bag, waved his little hand at Li Chen. "Is Xiao going to school?" "Yes," Li Biwu nodded obediently, very satisfied with her flowery dress. "Is it good?" "It looks good," Li Chen nodded. Li Biwu immediately ran to the next door and shouted, "Rujun is going to class." Li Hoxian and Zhao Yufeng hurried over and saw that Dongfang Yajun had washed and dressed herself. "Yajun, come here," Li Hoxian smiled and said, "your parents are out for business. For the next month, you will live in your grandfather's house and go to school with Xiao and the others, okay?" "Yes," Dongfang Yajun nodded calmly, But Li Chen clearly saw the disbelief in the little guy's eyes. When Li Hoqiang and Zhao Yufeng were relieved and started to go in to bring Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei out, Dongfang Yajun took Xiao's hand and walked to Li Chen, looking up and saying, "Uncle Chen. What's wrong? Are my parents on their honeymoon?" "Ahem," Li Hoqiang coughed wildly on the side, "go and do your own things." He kicked Li Chen away. Li Chen shook his head. The children of the Dongfang family really have terrible IQs. Fortunately, the few of them in his family are not too smart, so they should be able to fool around. Li Chen thought so. "Grandpa, we are going to study." Li Nanfei waved his little hand at Li Chuanlong. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 824. "Grandpa," Li Nanfei looked up and looked at Li Hoqiang, who was holding one child. "What's wrong?" Li Hoqiang had a smile on his face. Now, picking up and dropping off children from school is what he likes to do most. Because he can see many villagers on the way to school. Although people now have open minds. However, many people still want to have more children in their families. Like Murong Shui, who gave birth to 4 children, it is considered a lot. Therefore, Li Hoqiang always holds his head high wherever he goes. He is very proud to be a grandfather. Zhao Yufeng walked on the side with Li Donglong and Li Zifeng. As a grandmother, she was afraid that her grandson and granddaughter would not be used to school life and would be bullied. Even though she knew that Li Zifeng was the big sister in the school, she always felt that her granddaughter was cute and beautiful, and would be envied and bullied. Li Chen also said that he was powerless to do anything about this idea. After sending Li Donglong and the other 4 to school, Li Hoqiang and Zhao Yufeng didn't leave until they saw them enter the school. Just after they left, the 4 brothers and sisters of Li Donglong who entered the school immediately gathered together. According to the original plan. Okay, Li Biwa clenched her chubby little fists. "Xiao, remember to follow Yajun." Okay, Li Biwa nodded her little head heavily, her little face filled with excitement and joy. "Will we not be beaten by our parents?" Li Nanfei asked a little fearfully. Although Dad has never beaten them, if he really does this, it's hard to say. "It's okay, your sister and I will take care of it if something happens," Li Donglong comforted. "Action," Li Zifeng immediately said decisively, "it's too late if it's too late." Li Chen. After packing up everything at home, he began to water the herb garden he planted. Although this system has been taken down by him, he can still use it. Moreover, he tried to follow the instructions of the ancestor, add his own ideas, and gradually transform it. Perhaps, the next person who is destined to get it will start a different life. Ever since he knew that the ancestor opened the gate to the hell, Li Chen's mind has been clear. In fact, everyone in the martial arts world knows this news now. When this group of people finally die slowly, there should be no martial arts masters on the earth. I just don't know what changes will happen in the future. Li Chen shook his head. He didn't think about these things now. If something unexpected really happened, it would be hundreds of years later. Of course, it is not ruled out that the things in it have found a way to open the gate to the region. The future will be handled by the future generations. All he has to do is live in the present and live well in the present. All the things that should be taken care of and sorted out at home have been sorted out. Ya Yonggan, Pan Sichen, Pei Jiangnan, Yuan Chenjiun and others have all come. The small meeting room of Li Chen's house is almost full of people. Those who fought side by side with Li Chen at the beginning, the older ones, now began to push the younger generations they valued to establish diplomatic relations with Li Chen and his team. Li Chen and his team would not refuse. After everyone settled down, Li Chen said, "We are all old acquaintances, so let's make it short. First, maintain the current policy unchanged, but all speeds cannot be slowed down. I also hope that you will not give up. After all, it is still difficult to develop here. Second, I will go out for a honeymoon with my wife. How long it will take has not been determined yet. Maybe it will be very soon, or maybe it will take a long time to come back. Third, I will expand the livable area centered on Chijia village again. This is the greatest convenience I can give. Since you are all the masters of the house, just think of it as next year. I am opening a back door for you, but I don't want this back door to be opened casually in the future. Everyone in the room nodded. As for the rest of the cooperation, you can help each other, Li Chen said. That's all I have to say for now. Do you have anything else to add? Mr. Li, we found that the grapes you grow here are good and can be improved and expanded. After discussing with my father, I think it's feasible. What do you think? Don't treat those who provide seeds unfairly. You can discuss it yourself. Mr. Li, the construction of our high-speed rail still requires a lot of materials. What do you think? I will communicate with the rest of the people first and give priority to your supply. Remember not to save materials. Yes. Mr. Li. The meeting room of Li Chen's house was closed for 4 hours. During these 4 hours, the main discussion was about various aspects. And this discussion has almost determined the trend of Jia village in the future. I have left a total of 4 trillion drops of vitality water here. Li Chen looked at the remaining 4 people, Ye Yonggan, Yuan Chenjian, Pan Sichen and Pei Jiangnan, and said, I have made corresponding adjustments according to your respective needs. In theory, these 4 trillion drops of vitality water are enough for you to use for a long time. So, each family will get 1 trillion next time. As for how to distribute it, you can decide for yourself. With the buffer of these years, the subsequent arrangements I made for you should be effective, and then you will not need vitality water. Okay, the 4 nodded in unison. Okay, that's it for now. I hope we can become the world's #1 village. Ha ha ha, definitely, the 4 of them stood up with a smile. They are now the top and youngest richest people in the country, and there are quite a lot of things to do. Since all the things they were told to do have been told, they will naturally leave first. After Li Chen sent them away, he stretched his body. Li Hoqian and Zhao Yufeng were watching TV. Now the couple is so relaxed and comfortable. Li Chen does not manage the company. It is all managed by his own people. Li Hoqian occasionally looks at it. The main person in charge is Li Donglong. Going upstairs, Murong Shui has packed her things. In fact, there are not many clothes. The main reason is that Li Chen does not allow them to bring them. When they land, they will just go and buy them. Have you packed? Murong Shui's eyes flashed with excitement. After knowing Li Chen for so long, the two of them have never had a simple world of 2 people. Now, they can finally get what they want. With grandpa and parents at home, they can go out boldly and safely. Then let's go, Li Chen said, carrying a small box. Murong Shui held Li Chen's big hand, feeling the warmth from his palm, with a happy smile on her face. Have you packed? Zhao Yufeng saw the 2 people going downstairs and immediately stood up and asked. Yes, Murong Shui nodded. Zhao Yufeng looked at Murong Shui lovingly and said, you have worked hard these years. Relax more from now on. We are watching the children, so nothing will go wrong. Thank you, Mom. Family members don't say 2 things. Being a daughter-in-law of the Li family means hard work. You have suffered. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 825. Mom, what are you talking about? Li Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He took Murong Shui's hand and said, let's go quickly. When they come back, we won't be able to leave. Before Murong Shui could say goodbye to them, Li Chen pulled Murong Shui and ran out of the house. You brat, you have a wife and have forgotten your mother, Zhao Yufeng scolded with a smile. However, seeing how the 2 young men looked so much like they did when they were in love, She couldn't help but smile. Li Chen drove, Murong Shui sat in the passenger seat, and went straight to the airport. Murong Shui, who was a little sentimental just now and felt that they had not said goodbye properly, now had a red face and was extremely excited. The two of them had been preparing for a long time before this, and they carefully selected the place for their honeymoon. The first thing they go to is abroad, not because foreign countries are more beautiful than at home, but because they simply want to experience the world. After having fun outside, return to the country and appreciate the great rivers and mountains of the motherland. Both Li Chen and Murong Shui agreed that the beautiful places in China have always been so beautiful. The two went straight to the airport, and their first stop was the South Island of New Zealand. This is one of the two main islands that make up New Zealand. It is located in the south of New Zealand, separated from the North Island by Cook Strait to the north, and Stewart Island across Foveaux Strait to the south. It is 1,600 kilometers away from Australia. The reason why I chose this place is also based on the principle of proximity. The entire territory here is mountainous, and the mountainous area accounts for 50% of the country's area. Whether it is lush rainforests, clear lakes, or green grassy slopes and clear water and white sand beaches, they are all here. It is a wonderful tourist place. Li Chen took Murong Shui straight to the airport. On the South Island of New Zealand, the main features are Christchurch Avon River, Christchurch Casino, Mount Cook Park, South Island Queenstown Gypstone Valley Winery, Queenstown Ski Resort and Milford Sound. These were all chosen by Murong Shui. What Li Chen had to do was take Murong Shui to visit everything she wanted to visit. This is also the reason why Li Chen arranges so many things, because according to his plan, this honeymoon will take at least half a year. Take a flight, transfer, and finally go directly to the South Island of New Zealand. Although it is approaching winter now, the climate here is still much warmer than that in China. Plus it's the southern hemisphere, so it's naturally different. After landing, Li Chen directly followed the strategy he had prepared before and took Murong Shui straight to the beach area. What a beauty! Li Chen stayed in a sea view room. Although it was a bit more expensive, the view was unparalleled. Especially when standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows and looking at the blue and dark green sea, my whole mind seems to be broadened. Like it? Yeah, Murong Shui nodded excitedly. Then let's take a rest today and go to the beach tomorrow. Li Chen smiled and said, by the way, I'll take you for a walk on the sea. Okay, Murong Shui immediately nodded excitedly. After being so busy, both of them were a little tired and hungry. Li Chen ordered some meals and the two of them ate in the room. Shui. Murong Shui was concentrating on the following strategies and did not notice that Li Chen was already lying on the bed. Come and sleep. Wait a minute, I haven't finished the strategy yet. It's okay, we'll do it later. Li Chen hugged Murong Shui from behind and said with deep love, I will teach you something tonight. Murong Shui's pretty face smacked. It turned red all of a sudden. Her heart beat rapidly, and she said with a guilty conscience, what, is it again? Tisk. Li Chen gasped, it's a more technically difficult position. Upon hearing this, Murong Shui turned around and punched Li Chen on the chest with her small fist. Li Chen, how could you do this? As the saying goes, it's rude to come back without reciprocating. Since you hit my chest, do I have to hit it back? Murong Shui turned around and ran away, but was hugged by Li Chen. On the beach. This has always been the most common scene and seen in foreign movies. After Li Chen and Murong Shui got dressed, they walked hand in hand to the beach. Huh? Murong Shui asked in confusion, why do I feel like I heard Xiao Wu's voice? Li Chen smiled and said, how is that possible? She is still studying at home. Murong Shui smiled bitterly and said, maybe I started to miss them. It's okay. Let's go back and accompany them after we finish playing. Li Chen said, let's go and take you to see the sea. Murong Shui screamed in fright, and the people on the beach were also stunned. How could this man walk on the sea with a woman? Holding Murong Shui's small waist, Li Chen walked on the ocean. This is much more experience than taking a boat, and you can experience it yourself. Murong Shui's initial fright gradually turned into enjoyment. It was the first time she had seen the sea at such a close distance, and it was also the first time she had seen the sea in this way. Stepping on the water with her feet, there was a layer of light ice on the water, and the beautiful ocean came into her eyes. "Are you ready?" Li Chen asked. /U003CB. R/U003 Murong Shui hugged Li Chen's waist. Li Chen waved his arm and the two of them sank down. A barrier appeared around the two of them, expelling the sea water from the outside. Countless fish species that she had never heard of or seen passed in front of her. "It's so beautiful," Murong Shui hummed, "I want to take pictures." "Good. Smile." "Hey hey. Hey, you smile so ugly," Murong Shui said in disgust, but she was pleased with it. "From now on, this skill can only be used with me." "Good. Not even Xiao Wu." Okay, Li Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Why do you think you and your daughter are jealous? Besides, Xiao Wu is at home." Li Chen took Murong Shui for a walk in the sea, took her to take photos, and introduced her to various exotic species. The smile on Murong Shui's face never stopped. Finally, when the two of them were tired of playing, they found an inconspicuous place and quietly went ashore. "Let's go and bask in the sun." Li Chen found a place to lie down. Under the umbrella, Murong Shui applied sunscreen to Li Chen. Although it is said that Li Chen will not get tanned, Murong Shui has been doing this persistently. After applying it, the two put on sunglasses and basked in the sun with their eyes closed. Just when Li Chen was enjoying the pleasant sunbathing comfortably, Li Chen found that something seemed to be crawling on his legs. He just thought it was another child who touched him, but this little guy actually climbed on top of him, which was a bit interesting. Li Chen opened his eyes and saw a familiar face facing him through his sunglasses. "Hee, Daddy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 826. "Ah!" Murong Xiu screamed, her face pale with fright. Because when she opened her eyes, she saw a snake lying on her hand, and she was so scared that she threw it away immediately. When Li Chen opened his eyes, he saw the chubby Li Biwu lying in front of him. At that moment, Li Chen felt completely stunned. "Daddy." Li Biwu came to Li Chen's dull face and touched Li Chen's cheek with her chubby little hand. "Are you thinking about Xiao?" Li Chen screamed and suddenly closed his eyes, thinking that this was just a dream. But when he opened his eyes, Li Biwu pouted her little red lips and smacked his face. Li Chen looked at Murong Xiu with despair, only to see Murong Xiu looking at the four little guys standing beside her angrily. Li Donglong, Li Zifeng, Li Nanfei and Dongfang Yajun. Li Chen lay on the recliner as if he had lost all his energy. Li Biwu immediately lay on Li Chen's chest, smiling. He would never have thought that he would be followed when he went out for a honeymoon. Murong Shui was very angry, very angry. She sat on the chair with a cold face, looking at the four little ghosts in front of her. "Speak." Although Murong Shui was majestic at this time, Li Donglong in front of her was calm, Li Zifeng was laughing at her, Li Nanfei was well behaved like a good baby, and Dongfang Yajun was calmer than Li Donglong. "Mom, don't be angry, this is my fault," Li Nanfei sighed. "Xiao Wu accidentally saw your plan for a honeymoon with Dad, so we made preparations in advance." Li Nanfei glanced at his stupid sister who was still pinching Li Chen's face and said, "If you want to punish, punish me." He closed his eyes, looking like he was ready to accept the punishment. Murong Shui sneered and looked at Li Zifeng and said, as a sister, don't you have anything to say? \U003C. BR \U003E. Li Zifeng glanced at her eldest brother Li Donglong and said, I do. Say it. Xiao Fei is right. This is all planned by him. I'm just worried about the safety of the three of them, so I followed them out, Li Zifeng explained seriously. Li Nanfei on the side suddenly opened his eyes and looked at his sister in disbelief. You said that all the pots are for you to bear? Isn't this a trap for me, Li Nanfei? Li Donglong nodded solemnly, Mom, you should know what kind of temper I am. I can't stop them from making trouble. I can't just watch these little guys chase them out and do nothing, right? This is indeed Xiao Fei's fault, but they also miss you. I hope you don't blame him. Li Nanfei looked at his eldest brother with a dull face, and his hair stood on end. And, please don't be angry, okay? Brother Xiaofei is also worried about me and sister Xiaoa, so he came up with this plan. Dongfang Yajun, who looked silly and cute, also said. Puff, Li Nanfei turned around and pinched Dongfang Yajun's neck and roared, Dongfang Yajun, I treat you as a brother, but you actually slandered me. The two little guys, who were equally matched, wrestled together on the beach. Li Chen looked at the scene helplessly, and then looked at the little girl lying on him and unwilling to get up, feeling a little sad and headache. He thought he could get rid of these followers, but he didn't expect it to be a mistake. Snap! Ah! Li Biwu immediately covered his butt and looked at Murong Shui aggrievedly. Daddy, Daddy save me! Li Biwu exclaimed, because she had been twisted up by Murong Shui with one hand. Murong Shui was really angry. These children were too bold. Other children would not be so unbridled and bold at this time. These few people together are simply a disaster. Murong Shui, who put Li Biwu on her lap, was not polite at all. She slapped Li Biwu's fleshy butt hard with her palm. Ahh. We of you, Daddy. Li Biwu looked at Li Chen pitifully and aggrievedly with tears like a struggling octopus. Daddy, hug. The little girl struggled hard and wanted to get out of her mother's clutches, but it was useless. Li Chen turned sideways to watch the show. Even if the little girl was really hurt this time, he couldn't be soft-hearted. When he saw Li Biwu and the others just now, Li Chen was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. If something really happened, who would take the responsibility? He and Murong Shui would regret it for the rest of their lives. After beating Li Biwu, Li Chen took over. Woo-woo. The tender Li Biwu, with big tears hanging from her eyes, lay in Li Chen's arms, sweating profusely while crying. Little Wu, be good, don't cry. Li Chen couldn't help but feel distressed again. This little girl is really too easy to be soft-hearted. The more Li Biwu cried, the more aggrieved she became. She lay on Li Chen's shoulder and didn't say anything. This is completely different from her before. Mom, this is all a misunderstanding. Li Nanfei screamed. Li Donglong and Li Zifeng pulled Dongfang Yajun away at the same time. At this time, the mother must not be provoked, and they couldn't afford to provoke her. Li Nanfei seemed to be swimming. Murong Shui still tolerated Li Biwu a little, but she was really merciless to this little son. Li Nanfei's screams became a strange landscape on the beach. Li Nanfei felt pain, shame, and grievance. Because many foreign children were laughing at him. This made Li Nanfei, who was very proud, extremely embarrassed. After beating Li Nanfei, Murong Shui returned to the hotel with a cold face. Li Donglong and Li Zifeng did not dare to follow him, and looked at Li Chen for help. Li Chen, who was holding Li Biwu who was crying but not talking, looked at Li Nanfei who was rubbing his butt and grinning, and said, let's go. Dad, Mom is angry, Li Zifeng whispered. So I can't help you, after all, my status in the family is the lowest. Li Chen said he could do nothing. Li Donglong wanted to refute, but after thinking carefully, it seemed to be true. Why is Dad so miserable? His status in the family is the last. Mistake. Li Donglong was immediately in a state of panic. We are mainly helping Yajun this time. Huh? Li Chen looked at Li Donglong in confusion, wanting to see how his eldest son would argue. Didn't uncle and aunt go out for a trip? They left Yajun at home without even saying hello. Li Donglong had no choice but to say, Yajun has never left aunt before, and he is very scared now. Li Chen glanced at Dongfang Yajun, who showed no fear at all, and said, "Are you scared?" Dongfang Yajun was stunned for a moment, and immediately said, I am so scared." Li Chen hit Dongfang Yajun on the head with a slap. "You are so young, how can you have so many thoughts? Do you think your Uncle Chen is a fool, or do you think you are very smart?" Dongfang Yajun looked embarrassed and smiled bitterly at Li Donglong. "Uncle Chen is so powerful, not stupid at all." Just when Dongfang Yajun looked helpless, Li Chen's words made their eyes brighten. "But, since your mother and I can't get along well, I can't let your father have his way, right?" The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 827. "Mom, here you go." Li Nanfei rubbed his beaten butt while holding the flowers in one hand and handed them to Murong Shui. "We were wrong, please don't be angry, okay?" He placed the flowers in front of Murong Shui and tried the color on Li Zifeng. "Mom, your makeup looks really good today. Are you tired?" Li Zifeng moved her slender fingers and began to massage Murong Shui. Her craftsmanship is still unparalleled. Massage is not only comfortable, it can also relieve fatigue. Li Donglong personally bought a lot of things Murong Shui liked to eat and placed them in front of him. Finally, Dongfang Yajun ran to Murong Shui and admitted his mistake seriously. "Aunt, it's my fault, I came up with this idea." Dongfang Yajun looked into Murong Shui's eyes and said, "My dad is not reliable at all, and I want to go out with them too." As he said that, Dongfang Yajun's little hands were tangled together. "I have never had a father since I was a child, and my mother never mentioned him. Later, he started to appear in my world. I don't hate him. I also want to have a father like other children. I can let my father accompany me and let my father pick me up." But he didn't do it even once. Murong Shui looked at Dongfang Yajun, who shed tears while talking, and her heart suddenly softened. Dongfang Yajun is very smart, but also very sensitive. Precisely because of this, he was even more eager. Every time Li Biwu acted coquettishly towards Li Chen, he would be particularly envious. However, although his father was very kind to him, he didn't understand Li Biwu like Li Chen did. "I just got married, so if I really want to go on honeymoon, although he is young, he can understand." However, he just couldn't accept the two of them running away quietly like this. No matter how close those people are, he can't get close to them. Murong Shui pulled Dongfang Yajun into her arms with some distress and wiped away his tears. "Auntie, no. I'm angry with you." Murong Shui explained, "You are still young, and you are at the age where you need to study and receive knowledge. I ran so far this time, what if I met a bad guy along the way? What if something happened to you? Whether it's me, your mother or the others, they will be sad for the rest of their lives." Dongfang Yajun lowered his head. He was very smart and naturally understood. "But knowing that doesn't mean you have to be a good child all the time. And you." Murong Shui looked at Li Donglong and the other three, "That's so audacious. I'll put it in the account first this time, and I'll settle the matter with you when I get back." "Hee, Mom is the best." Li Nanfei immediately started blowing rainbow farts. As long as he made his mom happy, everything would be fine for the family. In the end, several children took turns to play, and then Murong Shui was coaxed. "Then what should we do next?" Murong Shui looked at Li Chen. "I'm afraid our honeymoon won't be able to continue, but we can't take advantage of someone, right?" Li Chen said angrily. Murong Shui, who originally wanted to go back, immediately felt the same way. You mean? We have already brought 4 children, Dongfang Yajun, we still have to leave it to them. Li Chen chuckled and said, let them be surprised too. Province. This is the Côte d'Azur region in southeastern France, on the edge of the Mediterranean Sea. It is also the home of the world-famous lavender. Of course, excellent wine is also produced here. This is the birthplace of medieval knightly romances. It is rich in products, sunny and beautiful. It has been attracting countless tourists since ancient Greece. This stop is the second stop for Liqingshan and Dongfang Yaoqing. Lavender is one of the most beautiful valleys in France. There is a 10-meter-high mountain on the mountain. In front of the 2nd-century monastery, Senank Abbey, is a large lavender field. All lavenders are planted by monks here and have different colors. Liqingshan held hands with his beloved wife Dongfang Yaoqing and stood in the Shimayana Mountains. Shimayana is a very distinctive mountain city. On the top of the mountain stands the castle Latong, and you can see the entire purple lavender sea. Dongfang Yaoqing held Liqingshan's big hand tightly. The two of them felt the warm wind blowing in front of them and looked at the endless purple ocean. Their whole bodies were overflowing with happiness. Do you like it here? Liqingshan smiled. I like it. Dongfang Yaoqing regained the feeling she had when she was in love with Liqingshan. Both shy and romantic. Then stand over a little and I'll take a picture for you. Liqingshan raised the camera. Dongfang Yaoqing immediately ran to a slightly farther position, and then Liqingshan began to find an angle. 1, 2, 3, oh my god. Liqingshan had just adjusted the focus and prepared to take pictures, when he found a small head sticking out from behind Dongfang Yaoqing, and was startled. Mom! Ah! Dongfang Yaoqing was caught off guard and screamed in fright. Immediately attracting the attention of countless passers-by, Dongfang Yaoqing patted her frightened heart and looked at her son standing next to her with a look of shock and horror. You, how did you get here? Liqingshan ran over and looked at his precious son with wide eyes. Dongfang Yajun grinned and said, guess. Dongfang Yajun blinked and asked, aren't my father and mother unhappy when they see me? Dongfang Yaoqing didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She knelt down and hugged Dongfang Yajun and said, Mom is very happy. Liqingshan looked at his son with strange eyes. He knew that this son was extremely smart. Mom, I miss you very much. Dongfang Yajun said softly, don't leave me. Am I okay? Dongfang Yaoqing softened immediately as soon as she felt a little emotional. Especially when her son hugged him tightly, she felt even more soft-hearted and guilty. I'm sorry, it's my mother's fault. Dad, don't you like me? Dongfang Yajun said aggrievedly. He dares. Dongfang Yaoqing was furious. At this time, she looked at Liqingshan and said, you don't like him. Liqingshan broke into a cold sweat. You see, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't like me at all. I'm an eyesore. Dongfang Yajun broke away from Dongfang Yaoqing's arms. I know, I am redundant, I will leave. The little guy turned around and left full of sadness. Dongfang Yaoqing's psychological defense was broken in an instant. He quickly hugged his son, grabbed Liqingshan's ears and said, come on, tell me carefully, why is he an eyesore? Hey, wife, please listen to my explanation. I won't listen. No, I won't listen. Liqingshan, why don't you speak? Huh? Do you dislike me? Do you think I'm unreasonable? No. Okay, you're impatient. You really think my son is an eyesore? Ah. Tisk, Li Nanfei, squatting in the lavender, couldn't help but smacked his tongue. He is still better at cheating. Li Donglong and Li Zifeng nodded in unison. Now Uncle Qingshan might have to kneel down to make instant noodles. Li Chen wiped the cold sweat, looked at the little girl in his arms who was also eager to try, and said quickly, let's go, Let's have fun here since everyone is here, let's play for a while before going back. Xiao Wu, you and Xiao Feng come over here and I'll take pictures for you. Okay. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 828. The latest news is that the county-wide investment in Yurong County is as high as 10 trillion, which is a new record worldwide recently. It is reported that Yurong County will win several firsts. The county with the most Fortune 500 companies. This will also become the only county-level development site in the country and even the world with an airport, high-speed rail station, train station, and bus terminal. It is reported that there are so many factories and enterprises here, which have attracted hundreds of large-scale family businesses across the country to settle here. From now on, this place will become more prosperous and develop. The amusement park in Jiakan has now begun selling tickets to the public. However, it is reported that the ticket prices here are not cheap. A ticket for adults is as high as 4,888 yuan, and even for children, it is as high as 2,888 yuan. This is not an ordinary people can afford it. Jiakan has applied for the Guinness World Records. It will become the world's first amusement park and zoo integrated, and the only large park with a total number of animals exceeding 10,000. One message after another is circulating on the internet. For many ordinary people, this is a new city that will rival the four major first-tier cities. Even though it has not been fully constructed and developed yet, the scale is already apparent. But for the rich and wealthy businessmen from all over the world, this is a holy place. According to the Wall Street Journal, the world's largest financial group will sign a series of cooperation with Jiakan, China, and will build a small Silicon Valley in Jiakan. According to overseas reports, the top 100 richest people in the world are all applying for temporary residence permits in Jiakan. Even if they only stay for 3 days, they can pay high fees. According to insiders, Zhao Hualiang, the president of Zhao Group, and director Li of Li Group have developed a new beauty product. After using this beauty product, it can delay aging, eliminate dull pigments, and reduce the appearance of dark pigments. It will be launched today, and the spokespersons will be Murong Shui and Dongfang Yaoking. According to the latest reports, the beauty cream has been launched online and is very popular at home and abroad. It has become the top list of current beauty products. This is also the first magical skincare product in history that can help people whiten, beautify, and nourish their skin. The great changes in Jiakan affect everyone's hearts almost every moment. Today, Jiakan has become the center, and the entire Yurong County has become independent and has become a special district. Each township has begun to become a separate jurisdiction, and all transportation is connected. Forbes ranking latest. When the first issue was announced, Li Chen was already at the top of the list, far ahead of everyone. And Huaxia, which originally couldn't even make it into the top 10, suddenly entered several places. This caused the entire world's structure to undergo huge changes quietly. Oh my God, did you know that even if you apply to be a cleaner at Jiakan school, you need a diploma? Real or fake? It's absolutely true. This is the latest news. Oh my God, with such a high salary, I want to give it a try. Haha, which post are you looking at? Those who were not selected by Jiakan school started from the lowest level as handymen. After their hard work and interviews, they were finally admitted. Now they have an average deposit of 1 million. Speaking of savings, who doesn't envy the teachers of Jiakan school now? Do you still remember the sensational recruitment? Those teachers are now allocated houses. Those are houses. Now they have increased more than 10 times. You can really make a fortune even if you pick up trash there. I just want to say that I made the right bet and spent a lot of money to build a storefront. The food I cooked was average, but there were too many people here who couldn't stand it. Now in just half a year, I have already achieved wealth. Free, I know many people may not believe it, but it is the truth. The economic development of Lijiakan has long been destined. And with the gradual rise of the Ye family's pig factory, the Pan family's winery, the Yuan family's vegetable base, and the Pei family's real estate, this place has become a small town comparable to first-tier cities at an extremely fast speed. So far, the real estate development here is not high, and it will not be developed deliberately. Therefore, it is extremely demanding to buy a house here. As for the houses in Ljia village, the price has reached 1.3 million per square meter. Although there are only so many, it is almost impossible to buy one. Not long ago, two great doctors also established special research studios, which will be of great help to people in the future to treat terminal diseases such as cancer. Because the two miracle doctors have developed specific prescriptions and programs and are now testing them. Once successful, this will be a huge medical progress. Lijiakan. The mountains and rivers are beautiful, the birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant. Countless animals make their home here. If you don't see it with your own eyes, outsiders will think that this is an isolated virgin forest. After someone came in, they almost got lost here. Because they discovered that the trees on both sides of the road were extremely precious. Someone has said that you must not underestimate anyone in Lijiakan. Even a snot-nosed kid may have tens of millions of dollars in savings at home. This is not bragging, this is fact. As for the world's richest man, Li Chen, he lives in Lijiakan. It is extremely difficult for many people to meet Li Chen. Even people like the stock god are eager to meet Li Chen, but they have never had the chance. However, Lijiakan School will hold a school anniversary today, and it is reported that the world's richest man, Li Chen, will attend with his wife. This made countless media very happy. Ever since the richest man got married, he has been living in seclusion, and outsiders can't easily get in. This time, if it weren't for the grand celebration of the school, it would be impossible for reporters like them to come in. The school anniversary began, and countless children competed to perform, which was very lively. What amazes reporters and outside audiences is that the students here are truly fully developed morally, intellectually, physically, artistically, and physically, and there is no English here. Here we emphasize Chinese etiquette and practice Chinese civilization. Here, merit will not be judged by performance, but by all-round development. What makes the outside world shocked and envious is that almost all the big guys worth billions or tens of billions send their children here. It can be said that this is a paradise where rich people gather. But no one could overshadow the richest man Li Chen. She was still handsome, and with her pregnant wife, she left the scene not long after attending the school anniversary. There are really too many people who want to talk to and flatter him. Li Chen, what are you doing? Your wife wants to eat some fruit, Zhao Yufeng said angrily. Hurry up. Okay, Li Chen quickly peeled the grapes. Grapes, give them to your wife. Under the sunset, Li Chen was taking a walk with the pregnant Murong Shui. Hey, why don't you go for a walk? Li Qingshan, who happened to be holding Dongfang Yaoking's hand, raised his eyebrows next door. Yes, Li Chen said with a smile, it seems that I have more children than yours. Li Qingshan. Dongfang Yaoking didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Since the two men came back from their honeymoon, they have been competing for everything. Murong Shui glared at Li Chen angrily, and then took Dongfang Yaoking for a walk nearby. Li Chen and Li Qingshan were at odds with each other, neither of them convinced of the other. I have 3 sons. TCH, I have 5 kids. My 3 sons are all handsome boys. TCH, I have 5 kids. Li Chen. Oops, ouch, I can't hear you. Just wait for me, I'll give birth to 5 too. Li Qingshan walked away angrily. Dongfang Yajun, who was sitting on the swing next to him, gave his old father a pitiful look. He still has to take care of his younger brother. Daddy, Li Biwa threw herself into Li Chen's arms. I said just now that the person you love most is me, but they still don't believe it. Tell them quickly, do you really want to follow me? Seeing Xiao Wu, who had already begun to draw strips and looked more and more like a beauty, running toward her, Li Chen immediately showed a happy smile. Behind Li Biwu, Li Donglong, Li Zifeng, and Li Nanfei all came. Li Donglong looked at Li Chen coldly and said, "Dad, as long as you admit that the person you love most is me, my position as chairman will be yours." Li Chen was unmoved, this was all he had. Li Zifeng took out the titanium alloy plate, bent it with a click and said, "Dad, look at this plate carefully, and then give a good answer to who do you love." Li Chen looked at the hammered steel plate and broke it with a single finger. Li Zifeng. Li Nanfei came up and said with a smile, "Dad, I am your favorite, right? I am the most popular child star in history. I know many young ladies and aunties." Li Chen, ahem, your mother is here. Mom, I was wrong, ouch. Papa, would.